Hey, welcome back to the Blazor Puzzle. This is episode 88. I'm Carl Franklin from AppVNext, and that is my friend Jeff Fritz from Microsoft. What's up, Fritzy?
Hello. It's we're coming up against school restarting here, and we're getting ready to send folks back to school, and I am so glad that I'm going to have an empty house again.
Your kids are grown though, the college, right? Or do you have one that's graduating high school?
I have one that's actually graduated college. So wow. I'm getting ready to get the other one out of the house now. Go.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Oh my God.
Love that Staples commercial. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Let's get to the puzzle, shall we?
Let's do it.
Roll it. All right, this is just some static content right here. I've got three sections, 1, 2, and 3, with a header on each one, with a little bit of styling. And the idea is that I want to turn this into an accordion control. You know what that is, right?
Oh, sure. Kind of like the panel on the left side of Visual Studio Code, where you have different sections that collapse up and hide like the folders and stuff. Okay.
Yep, we want to make it collapsible. We want a component, because that's what we do here, right?
Yeah.
And so basically it does all the functionality. We just provide the content, right?
Okay.
That's what we want. Also, this is the tricky part. We want a Boolean parameter that, when true, only allows one content panel at a time to be shown.
Oh.
Yeah. So
okay.
Right now there's, it's just static, right? There's nothing here. So let me show you the markup.
Okay.
So here you have a little style section. I've got a container class. I've got a content header class and a content panel class.
Okay.
So, I just put a little styling on it so that, we can see clearly what the different sections are.
Makes sense. Okay.
The header is blue background, white text, little padding, center text, and 100% of its container. The container I just set to half the screen width because why not? Doesn't need to go all the way across. In the content panel, I've got a little padding and I've set the background color to a very light gray. So here you go. I just have a div container class. And then each little section here, I've got the content header and the content panel with our old friend Lorem Ipsum.
Yeah.
All right, so how do we turn this into a component? Or how do we make a component that allows us to do this kind of thing, but make everything collapsible like an accordion control? And that is the challenge. Now, if you want to know right now what the solution is, just stick around. We'll be back in a few seconds. But if you want to try to figure it out yourself, which we hope you do, just press pause and then come back and see how close you got. We'll be here. All right, so this is it running, the solution. You can see I've got the cursor set to the pointer, which is, indicating a link.
Yep.
And right now I don't have the single panel Boolean set to true, but if we did, then you could only see one of these at a time.
Okay.
But let's take a look at the markup. Okay, so I have the same container and content header and content panel classes. The only difference here is that I added the pointer.
Sure.
And I didn't hard code that because you may not want the pointer. You may want your own whatever. So I'm giving you complete control over the style.
Okay.
So this is what the component architecture looks like. Check this out. We have a collapse container component. And inside that, we have a render fragment for all the content. And then we have 3 collapse panels, one for each, 1, 2, and 3. The label says 1, 2, or 3. We have our header class. We have a separate selected header class in case you wanted to change the style for the one that's open or selected. You know, different, maybe a different color or something like that.
Highlight it.
highlight it. Yep. And, the other thing is single open equals false, right? So that is our trick, that we can set this to true if we want only one panel to be operative at one time. So let's do that and see what it looks like.
I like these basics of building your own components that you're going to want.
Yep. All right, here we go.
Mm-hmm.
So there's 1, there's 2, and there's 3.
Nice.
How about that?
All right.
Now let's take a look at these actual components.
Yeah, let's take a peek at how that worked.
So it was pretty easy to do to make the solution that didn't have the only, the single panel allowed, single open equals true equals false. It was pretty easy to do that. But once we start having to manage, take a look at this. We've just got a render fragment, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then these collapsible panels. So one panel doesn't know that the other one is open or closed. Not only that, how do we communicate, from one panel to another? Hey, you got to close. So in the container, we've basically got this collapse controller. So this is just a class, and it's got a Boolean for single open, true or false, that gets passed in to the container, right? And an active key. So it defaults to the label for the key, but you can specify a separate key for, like an ID for each panel. And then we have an action state changed. And when we toggle, we pass the key and whether or not it was expanded. And if single open is false, we just return. Panels handle their own toggling. But if not, we set active key and call state changed invoke. So where does that happen? Let's look at the collapse container. It's a cascading value. Check it out. So we have this collapse container we new up, right? Mm-hmm. And on parameter set, we set single open to single open, right? We have a single open parameter, right? Remember, this is the container.
Yep.
And our render fragment. And we have a container class. That's the CSS class, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So now everything in the content, in other words, all of those collapse panels get access to this controller.
That same instance of that controller.
Yes.
They get a reference to the same one.
Right. And so now here we go. If we have an expanded, basically, Boolean, a private Boolean, and if it's expanded, we show the div with a selected header class and then another div with a content class for the content, right?
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, we don't show the content, and but either way, we have a tooltip and we click toggle show, or we call toggle show. So toggle show looks at the controller, and if single open is true, we call the controller toggle, and that takes care of everything else. Isn't it beautiful?
Nice. I like how easy it is to stitch these together.
Yeah.
But I'm looking here, and I think I see a couple ways that we can make this a little bit more terse.
Okay.
Maybe a way to introduce some animation so that we see it close.
Yep.
There's some direction we can go with this initial pair of components that you've given us here, Carl.
Kind of like this.
Yeah. This
is DevExpress's Blazor Accordion. And it does exactly what you're talking about. Look at that.
Yeah.
That is cool. The animation. Also, notice in this list, when you're going through them, you have the background changing. Just a lot of options for styling.
The hover class there. Yeah.
We encourage you to make your own components. But at a certain point, if you don't want to be making components all the time, you get a collection like the DevExpress Blazor collection. So you have options is what I'm saying.
Absolutely. Instead of you maintaining them, let them maintain them, give you great documentation for it, and provide support when you need it.
Yeah, it's all good stuff. I use this with my customers in production projects. It's good. So that is our show. and the solution is pretty cool, and you can go get it at GitHub. And if you have a puzzle, whether or not you have a solution, send it to Jeff and me by email at blazorpuzzle@appvnext.com. And if we show it on the show, we'll send you a Blazor Puzzle mug and mention your name.
Yeah.
So come on, we want to hear from you. But for now, we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Take care, friends.
Thanks for watching. Make sure to check out blazortrain.com and the .NETshow.com for more great content.